hop music. It's real hip hop music. Come on, come on.
Yes, y'all. You're tuned into another episode of Major Journalism presented by the People versus Anti-People. I am your host, David Traum Diggs Shanks. Trauma, MC Trauma, Shanks, Diggs, all of the above. Today, I'm bringing another interesting conversation, another conversation that was created organically and just digging into the Trauma Diggs, I guess, portion of the Major Journalism show, less about the politics of things and more just about personal development, human development, us understanding ourselves and understanding each other. And so for this conversation in particular today, I'm tapping back into my personal life and bringing one of my brothers. You know, on the beginning of the show, I told you guys I got a lot of brothers. I only have one biological, but I got a lot of brothers. And so this is one of my brothers. I think we're pushing 30 years now, probably about 28 or so.
94.
Yeah. So this is my brother Randy Tonge, aka Diff. I will be calling him Diff throughout the episode, but Randy Tonge is his proper name. I know Randy as many things, but for the purpose of ownership of title and identity, I'm going to call him a stand-up comedian because we deal with the arts and the genius and the expertise on this show. So I always give my brothers and sisters the titles that can be attributed to their passions, to their high level skill set, to their genius, to their purpose. So today my brother is a writer and stand-up comedian. Diff, welcome to Major Journalism, my brother.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been since 94, man. 94.
94. I can't even, it's hard to believe that I have a life that was always almost halfway through in 1994. Like, you know what I mean? Like 1994 is like recent in my mind still.
All of it.
You know what I mean? And it's like
everything to me, I swear, is like 10 years ago. The bar never changed. Everything. If I try to think, like, except for the stuff with, like, I know it was longer than that. You get past like 2000, it gets fuzzy. I even say crazy. 2000. Yeah, 2010, it gets fuzzy. I don't know,
I think, you listen to these kids and they'll say like, or just culture period, right? And they have these so you have like the 30-year-olds who have this like affinity for the early 2000s, you know what I mean? Like they've got like Bow Wow's back on tour for like the older people, and Omarion and and B2K's back on tour for like the 30-year-olds, and they have like this, oh man, in 2001 now, and I'm like,
okay. I don't know. I hear Omarion, I hear B2K. I don't know if I can swear on here.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. You're good.
So,
you're good.
Every time I hear Omarion, B2K, any of them, all I remember is the comment line, little hoe niggas with bobs. And that's the era we come from, and ain't nobody bat an eye. There was no uproar. It's just like, Common got it, the little R&B.
And that's common.
And that's the positive.
Yeah, dude. That's not the gangster rapper.
No. That was just
it was a different time.
Different world. Yeah. Different world.
Yeah, whole different world. And so some of that we'll get into too. So I guess I was thinking this morning, Rakim, and one of my favorite lines from one of my favorite rhymes. Excuse me, period. Right? So I was thinking like, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see a pastime hobby about to be taken to the maximum. I can't relax because I'm hype as a hypochondriac because the rap be one hell of an antidote. Something you can't smoke more than dope. Try to move away, but you can't, you're broke. But ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see a pastime hobby about to be taken to the maximum. That's where I want to begin like the conversation. So for me, I wrote my first rhyme in 88. I was 10 years old. B, Damage Earl, as you know, named me MC Trauma when I was 13, 12. And our first studio session was either 93 or 94. Whiskey was with us. Whiskey was like the engineer. I told that story at the beginning of Major Journalism, but I would say 1993 is my, like, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see a pastime hobby about to be taken to the maximum. That's when I said, I'm going to be a professional rapper. Like, I want to rap and make songs and put them out, right? But it was still a hobby because there was no infrastructure. There was just, I knew that's what I wanted to do. 2008 really begins Traum Diggs as the person who can be Googled as Traum Diggs, professional hip hop artist. The technology had to catch up to allow that to be so. You know what I mean? To create a mechanism for that to happen. So I would say, active 2008 to 2018, really, as Traum Diggs. What's your moment? I don't even really know how you started doing stand-up. Like, you weren't, and then you were.
So we'll go back, right? We're gonna go back to 94 for real.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple, I don't like some things stick in your mind, obviously. And but for me, there's like certain conversations, like, I know the conversation. I know in 94, I was in a dorm with me, you, and Inf, and you was rhyming. I wasn't rhyming yet, right? And we were just talking about like what everybody's interests were. And when I got to school, like I was there, and ultimately why I left, to skip ahead, it's like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought it might have been film. I knew it wasn't business or nothing like that. Like I wasn't passionate about nothing. I didn't have a passion. But I remember me and you having a conversation. It was along those lines. And you was like, nah, bro, we're going to get you one at the end of the semester. Right? Just,
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like, at that point, I was already looking for something. I don't actually touch it besides, like, so when we started doing the rhyming thing together, right?
Right.
And me, you, Sav, we rhyme in June, of course. And we go through, I leave school, all that business. Then I don't have that no more. So what ultimately pushed it towards me, and my moment came where I said, I'm going to do stand-up was, as you know, I was with my girl at the time. We had a pregnancy. Yeah, we went the whole 9 months, and it was a stillbirth. And like traumatic, like to this day, still the most traumatic probably experience of my life. Because, obviously losing a child is traumatic, or losing a baby is traumatic. I'll say a child because it is a child, right?
Right.
But for me, it was like, I felt, every event to every person is dramatic. But for me, it happened like the worst way possible.
No, I remember.
The worst way.
I remember, having those conversations with the rest of, the crew, and like to carry to term and to deliver, knowing that it's
done.
That's gut wrenching, bro. Like I felt for you.
I left work that morning. So you go from we're having a baby to actual delivery, and delivering. That took 5 hours. of I'm at work. I get like, on TV, you get the call. Yo, we're going. I'm ready to go. Let's go. It's time. Leave work. Yo, I'm out. Obviously they know I'm having a baby.
The whole thing you would normally, yeah.
Everything's normal till we get to the OGBYN and they can't find a heartbeat.
Jesus.
And then you're processing that, and you're processing that, and you're processing that, right? And then you go and, that whole mess happens, right?
Right.
So we'll go back to during the pregnancy, how I got to stand up. Now I'm thinking, I'm processing. I'm going, all right, this youth's coming. Financially, I'm doing like everything I can, like it was like I had just moved out of my mom's crib maybe a couple months before. Like I just signed a lease in an apartment. And I have a roommate, this dude I was roommating with. Shorty gets pregnant. She was staying with her grandmother. And then she was like, I don't want to have a baby here. So I bounced on the lease with the cat, still paying it, and put us into an apartment, into a townhouse.
Yeah.
But I'm still honoring the lease on dude. I'm like, you get somebody, but that ain't, you know what I mean? I'm just eating that money. Like I'm eating half that rent. It just is what it is. Like, I'm doing
stand-up shit.
Yeah. Just doing the best I can, whatever it is. So I'm handling that. And then, but now I'm focusing on, all right, life about to change, about to have a kid. What do you want to do? How are you going to raise this child to the best of your ability? And I looked at one of the major questions that came up in my mind was like, if I'm going to raise a child and any knowledge I'm going to impart on them, I kind of want them to lead, at least lead by the example that I tried. I ain't telling you about success and how far you go in the attempt. And so stand up, we go back to like, dang, Mario Joyner on MTV. Like they used to have the MTV half-hour comedy hour. I used to like be zeroed in on that, man.
Wow.
And I would watch it. And I like, I remember specifically I had this little green leather jacket in high school. And I would put it on. I wouldn't write no jokes. This is hilarious. I wouldn't write no jokes, but I would like, all right, and get into it a little bit. So then I put that away for years and years, but it was always like lingering in the back. Man, I think I could do this. I think I could do this. And then in rhyming too, I wasn't the best rapper, but I knew I had a way with words.
Nah, son, on approach, you choke off secondhand smoke, take big jokes. Come on, son.
But you know what I'm saying? I ain't
franchise, branch out like oats across the globe. My name is, come on, son.
But you know what I'm saying? I knew I had a way with words. You know what I mean? I had a way with words. Like, okay. So it's like, so that built my confidence a little bit to know, okay, if I could put those words together, I could probably do this.
Yeah.
So I go, all right, now come back. I go, all right, so if I'm going to lead this child that way, I got this thing that I always wanted to try that I never have. I'm going to at least make the attempt so I can speak genuinely and go, yo, when you got something in your mind, whether you're 10, 11, 12, you're a grown adult, whatever it is, and I tell you to go give it a shot, I can speak to some experience of having done that.
Correct.
In a venue where I wasn't sure, etc. So, so that's what happened. That's how I got the thought, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. We get to the day, all that stuff goes down at the hospital. You got to go through the stillbirth, like you still full labor. Go through all that, and I'm trashed.
And guess what? You can't opt out. Like she's got to do it. Like it's not. It's not like I don't want to do it.
No. There's no. You're stuck.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
Right. And then so we do that, and then life falls apart. Like emotionally, I'm trashed. Like I was out of work for 3 months. She shut down. I shut down. Now, mind you, this is already dealing on time with whatever issues I had beforehand. Personal. You know what I mean? This is not like, I mentioned like I'm a certain type of dude from the brain chemistry.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm a certain way. I know this. Like, thank God with time, it's how to process the business a little bit more. But I'm already a little, you know? I'm really predisposed to fuckery a little bit,
Right. Predisposed to fuckery. Yeah.
but even so, but like looking back, right, at my time, that's how I didn't frame, like I had, if you go anxiety, depression, all these like actual legit terms. Right. I never phrased any of that
we didn't know it existed. You didn't know.
No clue. I would just be, I'm in a way. Like I'm
Sup with
predisposed
son.
to
Yeah.
fuckery.
Sup with son. Son, son
Yeah.
be on some
And I'd be
shit.
like, and I would still, and myself, I'd be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, you don't even know how to process it.
Facts.
So, you got that in there. Now you got this. So I shut down, B.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at home with Shorty, just reading mad true crime novels. I don't know why, but like, I think the author's name is Anne Rice. I was just plowing through those serial killer books. I don't know why.
This house is addicted to true crime. Not your boy. But
yeah. I still to this day, I'm on YouTube. I'm deep in true crime.
Oh no, Rachel and Voss are all in it. They'll drive to Maryland, 10-hour drive, all true crime. That's their shit.
Yeah. So I'm into these.
I don't get it. My life is a true crime though. So
I don't know.
It hits different.
Yeah, that too, right?
It hits different.
I don't know what at that particular time made me delve into that. Maybe it was just a way to get out of my own space.
It's an escape for sure. It's an escape.
Yeah.
Because some of that shit is like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So after like about 8 weeks or so, like work is like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, I kind of come back. Like they're not pressuring you because they know what happened, but you're like, we need some kind of. So I tried going back to work. It lasted 1 day.
Wow.
I'm in there and shit literally feels like my skin is crawling off. Like forget focus, like literally, like I feel like I can't handle. Handle. I come back out and maybe 2-3 weeks later, I write a set. I write some jokes. And I go down to the Laugh House was still on South Street. Yep. So I go down to the Laugh House. I find, do the search it up on Google, all that business.
South Street in Philly.
Yep. I search it up.
Sorry.
I find when the open mic is. I go down because I'm still like, now I'm looking to connect and make sense of what just happened, right? And I'm going, well, if that was the plan, that's like the only thing I got left that's a connection to this. Mm-hmm. To her, to my daughter that we lost. That's the only thing I got left. Right? The only thing tangible I got left was I made a promise. The child is not here anymore to see the promise, but if the promise was legitimate and it was worth me doing, that I could still at least fulfill that promise to that child.
Right.
So I write the set, I go down, I do it, it's first time up, whatever, however it goes. I remember like one girl came out and she said something nice, and that was like, all I needed. Get no laughs.
What's amazing about that? First, don't forget where you were, but you took your time and you wrote a set. Like that's so 2000 and you know what I'm saying? 2001. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that's so that era. Like now you would have just like walked in and said, like, I can tell jokes. But you know what I mean? The reverence that you have for the craft still is let me let me do the work that allows me to present this in a way that's respectful to the craft. I just wanted to point that out.
No, from Jump Street. Like I knew from Jump, at that point, I was not doing this to still spend some time. I'm going to be a comic. Mm-hmm. That's the goal. So I treated it like that from get-go. Yeah. So I go down, I do the set. Like I said, this girl came out and was like, yo, just like, I forget whatever she said, but she gave me something positive because it wasn't like I was up there getting laughs. It's your first time. Right. And then I come back home, whatever. And then like, it was like the next week I went back to work and I was able to function again.
Wow. You had you had done something.
Yep. Yeah. And it put it all, it lifted it, like it just lifted a bunch off. Yeah. And I was able to start. Yeah.
I can live. I can live with this. Yeah. Yep. I can live with this.
Yeah. It's like, how they talk about like ayahuasca? You know what ayahuasca is?
Yeah. The plant. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's like ayahuasca. It was like, I think it was like trauma on top of trauma, but in a safe trauma in a way. It's just like this fear and anxiety of me doing this thing that I've thought about for literally decades, being able to overcome that in this instance in sort of a controlled way that I can control, that's beginning and end to it, that has a structure. If I can do that, it sort of overrides temporarily or enough everything that's preceding that you can move forward, at least for me. if I look at it now and try to, analyze it.
No, that's real.
And that's how I got in. And then once I was in and I did that, then we were off and running. And it's writing. Then it's, it's the process. Trying to figure it out.
And you said when, what year was that?
So was that 2007? I'm trying to think when we lost the baby. I think it was 2007.
In that world, though, yes. In
Yeah.
that world, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I think it was 2007.
Because the first time I saw you at a comedy club in the city would have been like 2008.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was like, so we lost the child January 5th, 2007. That was the day. And then I would have done that set. So we go January, let's go 3-4 months, sometime in Mayish.
That makes sense.
Maybe,
that sounds good. Yeah.
And then trying to piece everything back together at that point. And then once I did one, I was trying to figure out another. Then it's, then I'm off and running. But that was like what got me to get on and go. Of just going, all right, now I'm taking it. But once I went, I'm going and I did it. I did it with the intention of I'm going to respect it and I'm going to do it like, because my heroes, like you're talking Chris Rock, we're talking George Carlin, like Dave Chappelle, like, I'm going to giants, like, obviously Eddie and oh man, why am I blanking on his name? Richard Pryor,
Of course,
like, you want to be compare yourself to the greats. In the comparison, at least have them as a role model.
Of course.
I'm going like, if that's who you're trying to be.
And a bar.
Yeah. Set it way, way high. You going to the moon. I know that's the moon. I'm getting there. This is how far I got to go. Yeah. So that's what started my process, man. And I had to go, I'm doing it.
I love that, bro. I love that. It's remarkable, what we can bring out of ourselves when it's not about ourselves anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like when it becomes about something or someone outside of you, it's amazing what we can will ourselves to do that we wouldn't even do for ourselves.
Yeah. That's probably why parenthood is so important, right?
Facts.
That's like, of all that, like I look at, like I don't have any children.
Just love in general, bro. Whatever the love is, you know what I mean? I mean, parenthood is the obvious one.
Yeah.
But
I think like going from my experience of putting, of leading up to it, it's different. I can say for me, it's a different thing. Like, you know what I mean? Of like, you love your parents, you love your friends.
You created it. You created it. It's the ultimate. It's God at work.
Yeah, you can't be like, if you're gonna take it serious, there's no. You go on the back burner now. Yeah, like relax, yo.
You become a steward of a life.
Yeah, relax.
That you created. You know what I mean? That's a different thing. That's a different thing. So we're running, and that's why I asked what year, because I wanted to make something clear that I thought I knew unconsciously. We've never had like this conversation in this way. We were just living. We're having like a reflection at this point, so it's different. But I said in my little intro that I was active as Traum Diggs, you would say 2008 to 2018. So I wanted to clarify what I believe, which was that this period of time that we're discussing is occurring it's occurring simultaneously for both of us. We're doing this at the same time. So, when you're hosting my shows in 2009 in Brooklyn,
I'm 2 years into comedy.
We're making this run like, yo, you doing the stand-up, I'm doing the hip-hop thing, we're gonna work. You know what I mean? And so that's why there was no way I could have a conversation like this without bringing you in because you more than anyone else had a seat at that whole process for both yourself and for me.
Yeah.
So you do the stand-up, you start to do it more. It becomes a part of your being.
Mm-hmm.
You begin to fall in love with the process. When does it the part about making a living?
Okay.
When does that creep in?
All right. So stand up is a little bit different than, like, let's say music, right? Music,
In the music industry.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we'll take all industry out of it. And let's
Right.
just look at the form.
Right.
Let's just look at straight up the artistic form.
Right. Let's start
You
there.
can make a song and it be a great song. And if enough people hear it, legitimately, you can make money off that song for the rest of your life. Right? You can. Like, and I'm not gonna say don't label a one-hit wonder, because I think that's the biggest trash in the world. Like calling somebody. I don't like it. And here's the thing.
I'll take it.
Yeah, but no. This is what I don't like about it, Shanks. This is what I don't like about it. People take for granted that you've made a connection with millions of people and try to turn that into a detriment. Are you out of your fucking mind?
That's why I said I'll take it.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
I'll take it takes two.
You know the work and the
35
effort
years
that it takes for you to connect something that you created out of nothing.
One time. Even if it's one time.
Yo.
How many people in the existence of humanity
everything
can say that they've done a thing?
A thing. One is enough.
That's a fact.
And when I hear that, it burns me. It burns me because, like, then it makes me know you never tried shit. You never tried nothing. Fuck out of here.
Because the people who say that never had
fuck out of here.
Never
had
one.
Tried nothing. You never tried nothing.
You
never tried nothing on your own. So you might be an expert in a lot of other things, and respect to all that. And I'm listening. I listen to it because that's a major skill in stand-up. More than everybody thinks, the skill of stand-up is listening. That's the skill. That's the skill you develop that helps everything. It's listening, right? That's the skill. So when you say that, when it comes to like artistic endeavors and things of that nature, there's only so much credibility I can give you. Not that I'm not going to discredit everything that you say, because, you could be right about some things, but that thing in particular, I don't know. That rubs me the wrong way. Nah. So to say that, we'll get back to, you can take a song, you can get it there. You cannot do that with a joke.
Right.
You can have a great 5-minute joke, same length as a song, a great 5-minute bit. Everybody loves it. Guess what? After they heard it once, it's done. It's over. There's no mechanism for a 5-minute. There's no hit in stand-up.
Yeah.
So in that world, you trying to make a living is a process.
Yeah.
And going in, I got to do open mics. Then I got to learn to host. Then I got to get on shows regardless of money. Once I'm getting on shows where I'm starting to get a little bit of paper, now you butt up against, especially back then, you butt up against the industry, right? Can I get a manager? Can I get in the clubs? Will I get a TV credit?
Gatekeepers.
Yeah, exactly. So you hit the gatekeeper level. And the making a living portion of it was never a super concern for me, because I was just like, get better. Just get better, yo. You get better, you get to a certain level of proficiency, I'll figure it out. And then that's when, that's where we can join in, where I go like, well, am I helping you? Because we go, all right, let's just go from the ground up and try to build something. That was my take on it. It's just like, yo, let's just do this. Bundle together, try to go. But because I started, I was making a little bit of money, nothing, gas money here, back and forth, right? I'm getting paid. I'm at the point where I'm getting paid. It doesn't impact my life in any way, shape, or form. Overall, I'm still way in the red because for every show I get paid, I've driven to 4 or 5 mics and shows where I didn't. But I gotta be
momentum.
there.
It's momentum though, and it's people like us. We recognize the grind. We embrace the grind. So it's like I've moved this from a thought in my head.
Yep.
To a little $50, a little $100 to tell jokes.
I just made up. I made them up out of nothing.
You called me here to show up to do this, and now it's about scaling. And that's it's like, well, now I just got to scale.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People have told me I'm funny. I need to find more of those people and get in front of them.
Yeah, yeah. So now, while you're doing that, so we're gonna go back to the money, right?
Right.
So while you're doing that, I would wake up nights, like I'm living out here, right? I'm living in Pennsylvania, right? So we'll set the stage. I live in a suburb of Pennsylvania. So there's no comedy scene here. So we start building one locally. You think you met my friend Ryan Hill?
Yeah.
So he was on the same thing. I met him. He had just like come home from college, whatever, wanted to do stand-up too. He knew a couple of people. So then he gets one open mic. And then he's hosting it. He's bringing me up. And then we start opening other little open mics around and then start doing local shows, whatever, right? And then to supplement that, so we're doing those like once a month. I'm hosting an open mic at a bar. And then to supplement that, like on a Tuesday night, twice a month or something like that, I'm driving to a bar in Jersey to talk to 8 other comics, to come back home at 1:00 in the morning, to wake up, to go to work a full day, So like you're trying to do that, and that's your job. That's a whole job. Whether or not you're making money at it, it's a whole job.
And that's
then
me.
You have your day job.
That's me driving up to New York, doing a showcase, leaving New York at 1 a.m, driving straight to the storage spot where my Red Bull truck was parked, parking my car, getting in my Red Bull truck and making it into a Wawa at like 3:30 in the morning and starting my workday.
Yeah.
Just like I'm still awake, still alive. Yeah, still alive and still awake. Let me just knock out these stores right now and then get home by 11 o'clock and crash.
Yeah.
And it's just whatever it takes. And that's free. I'm not getting paid. You know what I mean? But that's in that way.
Well, it's costing you. It's costing you money.
It costs. But in that way, that's the aspect of my grind that is the stand-up. That live performance is is stand-up comedy. You know what I mean? I was thinking when you were saying it, I'm like, it's a gladiator sport. You're like a battle rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to keep performing over and over and over and over, and I have to show up as great every single time, basically, to get, or as many times as necessary to get that look. I can't be batting 300. I got to be batting like 750, like everybody bombs. You just can't be bombing 3 times a week, bro.
Yeah. And even then, like...
or you got to be getting to some place where eventually, like he used to bomb 3 times a week. And then, so that's the grind. That's the grind. You know what I mean? The technology hadn't caught up. Now, you think of the skits we were doing back then and, messing around and, had we had TikTok, then maybe circumvent that whole process.
But like, so then we go back to like, this is where I'll go, like my personality now. I'm never going to be a digital dude.
Right.
Just not.
Right.
It's not for me. I can't.
Right.
It's not, you got to pick your arena.
Right.
I'm not. Like, there's videos of me on the internet doing stand-up. It look trash to me. I don't translate well that way.
Right.
I just don't. Like, I'm I need to be there. You feel me, I feel you. We're going. And I can make that night there. But, like I don't translate well to it. And then after a while, my thing, so I bimmed off of social media, and I'll tell you, what got to me with that, well, one, besides like the stress of it, of just too many people saying too many things, but what like eventually I boiled it down to that I really didn't like about it is that social media gave an audience to people who didn't go through the grind that we're going through to gain an audience. So they have no respect for having an audience.
Mm.
And at no point in human history was that ever a thing.
Yeah, unprecedented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To gain an audience, you had to put work in. Whether you're a union leader, if you're a supervisor, if you're a mayor, if you're a president, if you're on the PTA, you gained an audience because you put time in and you were held accountable to those people in front of you, face to face.
Right.
But now, social media gave like average person, what do you got? Like 700, 800 sometimes, a regular ass person, a couple thousand followers and friends. You know, it's an audience. You know, whether or not they all see it, you're aware that they all can see it, but you have no tangible, and you did nothing to earn that.
Other than, in many cases, say and do things that you know will strategically provoke people and create an audience.
Yeah, and I'm speaking more to like the early days of it.
Oh, okay.
Before people got super savvy.
Yeah.
Before you were savvy, you know, before it was before there were influencers.
Yeah, I mean, we started talking to each other.
Yeah,
it started as a beautiful thing, as like, yo, I could connect with my homie from the 8th grade. I didn't even know where he was.
Yeah,
it was awesome, and you had your 30, 40 people that were like your folks, and maybe a couple family members, and you were, you know, we would speak to each other. You know what I mean? So I would say, I would, you know, have some anecdote as a post, and it would be you and Gomez and Nam and, you know what I mean, Charlie and Stevenson and like all of like the Temple people with some of the, you know, my Brooklyn, and it was like, yo, we're connecting, and then it became something else.
Yeah, and then when I started to see those, and I was like, nah. That's why I got out. I was
that's
like,
a lot of our struggles. That's a lot of our struggles. And that's like the minutia of things. That's like, that's the conversation, because, you know, that's an example where you cold turked and I struggle with it still. Like I kept going because it became a necessary function of my end goal. As I like, they made it so there's nowhere around it. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I need to, especially for someone like me, because we began to gain traction through
media,
not social media, but digitized consumption. You know what I mean? So it's like, once we saw 100,000 people view something, it was like, well, our audience is there. And that was YouTube. And so that's the audience, you know, and that's what you were talking about the song. The concept maybe that we could tape a comedic performance and just stream it there. Everyone wasn't doing that yet. But the music video that's what it was. And so that became the gig. Like, I can't get on MTV, but I can get on YouTube.
Yeah.
So for a DIY musician, that's the tool.
There you go.
So, and then that, but I still, okay, but that has nothing to do with social media. Like, I'm not, and then slowly, you know, now I can upload my music video to Instagram.
Yeah.
Long format. Like it's now IGTV. I can go and give you an hour of content.
And also too, like people know now, like I view it. So so much of this is like in hindsight. You look back and you get the coulda, shouldas. Man, if I'd have known, I would have done. I would have rearranged whatever. But like the times as
It's
you
not how
learn,
time works.
no, it's just not. Like be like, damn, I had it. But also, you just taking myself, like YouTube was. I would say it was. You didn't know that it was going to be a business platform. As
Right.
the way it is now.
Right.
It's a whole entire cable net. It's the biggest network in the world. Like like you got Netflix and all, or every network, whatever. I think YouTube probably reaches more people than all of them.
No question.
And you program. We didn't. I don't. No one foresaw. I know I didn't. That how much flexibility each person has to program their media experience now.
Yeah.
You program it yourself. One of the things that's beautiful about our era is that you didn't.
Right.
So you got, but there were so many positives. Like, why do I know Guns N' Roses songs? It ain't just because I went to an all-white high school. It's like I watched MTV.
Yeah. And I mean,
it's like
so the freedom that has been created by even social media, just by the digital web 2 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's unprecedented.
Yeah.
Just like the access everyone has to an audience is unprecedented. And with everything, there's going to be
this downside,
good and bad. There's a dark side, there's yin and yang, however you want to call it. So
I like that. But so remember, we were talking about like this week earlier when we spoke, we're talking about the structure. Like, I think structure is good sometimes. This is another example of that. Where like, I love being able to program my own experience, right? But having a frame of reference where I still choose to go outside of it from time to time and know that I actively can't just seek out the opinions and the thoughts that I have. And just reconfirm and get that confirmation bias going. Yeah. We're like, hey, I think the world is this, so I'm going to watch this video that tells me that I'm right. I'm going to watch this video that tells me that I'm right.
That's the algorithm.
Yeah, you got to beat the algorithm.
That's like the demon in all of this, right? This thing that is, but
So here's the thing, though. If you go back to the 90s, we had an algorithm, right? It was NBC, ABC. They still pushed to us. But to me, this way now in this model, it's a little bit trickier because you have a real illusion of choice. Like, when I turn on MTV, I know I didn't choose what's up there.
Well, there was a time where our culture, and this is where you're getting at, and then we'll kind of go back to the linear version of our story. But there was a time where we had to sort of the relationship that South America, Europe, other regions of the world have with hip hop. Now, there was an effort that went into engaging in the culture because it was not readily accessible. So that's the thing so to be hip hop, to be down by law, you know what I mean? Like, it required certain good and bad traditions, customs, morals, laurels, you know what I mean? Behaviors, opinions. But that was created at that time through the collective, not through the algorithm. So, you know what I mean? We got, when you were getting an hour or 2 hours on Friday and Saturday night to take this culture in, we decided, because they didn't know what the hell was happening.
No.
We decided, no, you have to play that Big Daddy Kane next week. Like, you have to, these are the guys.
Yep.
These are the guys. And some of those guys, even when we're getting into the 90s, like, there's who's selling a bunch of records, and then there's the guys that the culture says are the guys.
Yep.
That's what's missing.
Yeah. And
that's what's missing.
You couldn't get around. The word of mouth was still, like, you trusted. Like, if somebody said something, somebody was dope, I trusted that more than anything I heard on the radio.
Of course.
Like, of course. Son's dope. All right, I'll peep
because the culture was still outside.
Mm-hmm.
You had to go see something. I saw this. I saw Son at, Lyricist Lounge, or I saw this somewhere. I saw that. I heard someone brought me back something from this, or a tale, or a story.
Tape. Remember the tapes? I don't want to get too far off topic, man, but them tapes, the treats coming back from Brooklyn, 1994 stretch of Bobito.
The tapes.
It's Traum Diggs legend.
And Nom's stupid ass radio that erased like 90% of them.
Yo, that was legend. Like, there was just so much. Like, you think about them, that ritual.
Yeah.
It's like it's ritualistic. That's how much we valued it, B. You go up. I remember you challenge I go up. Yo, I'm coming back. Whatever day you went up, it was like, that used to be like lost for the weekend. Like, yo, Shanks ain't here. What are we doing? I don't know.
Facts.
Well, whenever somebody went home, we're like, oh, shit, crew not complete. What are we doing?
Yeah.
But and then you come back
with this tape
feature. Let's go.
This tape. And we'd sit down and we'd get our, treats.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? We'd sit in a dark, cold ass dorm room or apartment.
And go.
Well, the dorm rooms wasn't cold. Dorm rooms used to be hot as hell. They were in the dorm rooms.
Yeah, no.
But when we moved into our own apartments, cold as hell. Mm-hmm. And and it was a ritual, yo. We would sit there and it would just be treats and treats and treats. And we treated it like
called them
treasure.
Treats. It's just treats.
It was gold.
To tie it all back in now, so you framework that in. Now that tells you why I'm going to treat stand-up a certain way.
Right.
Not the same art form. Why you're going to go about if I'm going to do this. If we valued it so much and it was not easy, once you go, I'm going to present myself and step in this arena to offer myself into this format. If you've gone through all that, there's no way you're going to come in and jump out the building like,
correct,
it's whatever.
Correct. So bring us back to that space then. You're making a little money. We're traveling around, I remember one show in like Willow Grove. I met you up there.
The VFW?
Yes.
That shit was dope.
Yes, we went to a couple. Hey, listen, anywhere I get a drink, I was good back in those days. But Jack and Ginger, please. And I just sit there. We would, and so you're hosting. You did the roast. You roasted the mayor. Like, you're doing things, right?
Yeah. I forgot about that hosting.
Yeah.
Yo,
you're doing things. Yeah. I know, bro. That's what
you got indicted. You went to jail.
I'm not surprised.
Facts. You went to jail. Got locked up. But anyway,
I'm not surprised. But you're doing these things, right? And this time it's just Facebook. Mm-hmm. It's not like the algorithm hasn't taken over yet, right? Mm-mm. So, but you even then, like you said, like this is the route I'm going, mm-hmm. and if I continue this route, all the greats, all the understanding and knowing that I have about this thing tells me I'll be rewarded. Stay true.
Yeah. But here's the caveat.
And here's where we are.
We've talked about that thing in sort of framework of a vacuum, where it's all art all day long, and that's my only concern, and it is not, and that's where the balance, because you go, I love this thing.
When'd you see that? That's where we're going.
When
When
you
did you
know
see that?
that it's not in a vacuum, or
What was an instance where you were like, okay, I'm tripping. This is not about this.
oh,
I gotta figure I'm gonna have to figure some things out.
let's. I'm trying to give you a good example. I think maybe, you know, as along the lines of I start to send out like little tapes back then. You'd have to like get a little set and send it out. So I started seeing that a little bit. And then, oh, okay, here we go. Here's one. This is it. This is a perfect example. 2011 Giant Super Bowl. Okay, yeah, this is where you go. Okay, it's some next shit, right? I gotta, you know, the plan might not be the plan.
I gotta figure it out.
Yeah. So 2011, I got another one. I'm glad you at that VFW show because I got another one of those up in the hills of Pennsylvania here somewhere. I got that gig through. It was like I was working at the warehouse, right? One of the truck drivers, he was doing a benefit for somebody like needed something, which was always sidebar. If you're out there doing stand up and you're getting in, benefits are great. Like somebody benefiting, like, you know, going to help out this person.
And you host.
Yeah, fundraisers are ass.
Yeah.
But they'll give you, fundraisers, no bueno. Horrible crowd. Don't even do it. Go sell your fucking raffle tickets and leave me the fuck out of it. But here's the why. They're not there for the art.
Right.
It's out of obligation.
Right.
Okay? It's out of obligation. So you're just sucked up my night. Whereas a fundraiser, whereas a benefit, it's about doing good and they're fantastic. They're, you know what I mean?
It's just a better crowd.
Yeah, the mind frame. So this all impacts your performance now. So when somebody goes, you bomb, you got to know all that too. Like, why were they even there? Because you're not overcoming a man who don't want to be there. Care who you are. You don't want to be there.
Facts.
Yeah. So I got one of these. Great show. It's up in some little hunting lodge in Pennsylvania. Pull in. Just deer on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
All that business.
Yeah.
Go in. Oh, I mean, you know, I don't. This one, I've done it long. I don't care. I didn't really care too much.
Right.
But I had all that.
That's not your bag. You don't give a fuck about none of that.
Yeah, I'm here to do me. You know what I mean? Like, so, and that was my refuge too. Like, stand up was my refuge. Was like, I got these 10 minutes, my boy, and to hell with the world. These are my 10 minutes. Yeah, y'all take it how y'all want. This is mine.
Yeah.
So I go up. I do good. I do good. Do my set. By this time I got my set that I'm working, polishing up for years. I go in. I do good. They're happy. The next day, I come to New York City. I got an audition at the comic strip. They used to do like a late afternoon audition where you go in, you do your set, and they pass you at the club to come do like a little midnight show.
Right.
Kind of deal. It's like your foot in the door.
Right.
I do the exact same set. I leave the stage to a round of applause. I wait around after the show. The guy who's passing at the club thumbs up. He goes, "Oh, you did this thing and this thing and that thing. Yeah, we're not interested." Nothing I could do. And I got the frame of reference, my boy, where I know I was just up in the hills of PA. And then I was in New York City, not the next week, the next day, literally. The next day in New York City, biggest city in the world, in one of the biggest comedy clubs in the world. And the same material I had for that crowd up in the hills of Pennsylvania hit the same way in New York City. You can't tell me different. Because I was there. I know what I know.
Yeah.
But this guy says, no.
I lived it. But someone can block you.
And even like other comments were like, you didn't get past? It's like, nope. It's like, why? I said, you didn't tell me. I didn't ask.
Wow. Yeah.
And I had to leave it at that. Now, mind you, I'd just gone to like the Giant Super Bowl parade that day too. Having to work out. Like the Super Bowl parade, whatever day that was, I had it on the same day. So I went up, got in the city, killed time that way, got there extra early, killed time at the parade, then got to the club. So then that goes like, then, you know, kind of like, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this now.
Right.
Because it can be shut down. Now, that's not the only person, the only game in the house, you know, in town. But there's going to be a wall. And I don't know how to get around that. I didn't.
I would do these shows, and I thought I was, you know, there was a certain point in time we were running around with Bullyfoot Massive, and like I thought I had a decent show. You know what I mean? I was getting better and learning more and doing more, and things were not without their limitations. But I knew that I could entertain an audience who didn't come there to see me. You know what I mean? Like I had got our thing to that point.
Yeah.
And you would see like just you're doing this thing DIY, right? And so it's like you go to a club and you promote your own show. Like we would rent out the spot, we would do our own thing. We're putting, 150, 200 through the door on some of those Saturdays, right? And then you'd then get 5 minutes for, Quali or something. And it's like, okay, well, there's like 300 in here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it can only fit but so many people. So it's you pack it, it's packed. Like,
it is what it is.
You know what I mean? So you got a couple more people, and this hurt me in a way. It speaks to what you're saying. Like, because we started creating a foundation, a ground up kind of situation. I wasn't building the relationships.
Yeah.
We became sort of like our own incubator, and we just were like, yo, we moving around. We doing the same thing y'all doing. We just smaller, you know what I'm saying? But like we're getting to it. And so there's still that wasn't, everybody wasn't doing that at that point in time. So you would see other people who would just kind of ingratiate themselves, so to speak, with bigger acts, and they would find themselves a space inside of that group, team, or whatever, and they would move up. And that's when it started to hit me, like, whether I'm right or whether there's other things involved that makes me intertwined in that. It felt for me like, we'll say, kiss some ass.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to kiss some ass. I mean, in our days, we would say something else. You know what I'm saying? A famous line, Jadakiss say, I'm stuck with what I'm stuck with because I don't, you know what I mean? And so, but I don't want to get flagged. So, but that's what we would say, right? And so it's like, I don't really know how to do that. Like, I'm a cool dude. I'm a friendly guy. I'm personable when you know me. It's all good. I'm not acting other than I am, but I'm just not going to make a friend for the purpose of advancing what I'm trying to do. Like, that's just not what I do. I can't do it. And once I realized, like, okay, there's a skill set for networking, and I'm not that good at it.
See, I couldn't say it better myself. And so I hit the exact same thing.
That's what I heard you say I heard that.
You said
I'm like,
that's exactly how I can say it. I can't do that. I can't do it. Like, I can't. I understand what it is. I'm not built that way. It's never gonna happen. I can't do it. Like, I can't do it in my personal life. Like I got, man, I know I don't know the number, but I know the number that when it gets beyond a certain amount of people, I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. And I
Yeah.
ain't got no choice about that.
Yeah.
I don't got no choice. Like I'm hands up. Hey. That's how we came tight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I knew a bunch of, like, before I met you, I met a bunch of cats. And they knew a lot of people. And I'm done. No.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
I want total autonomy.
My circle has to be very small.
Total autonomy over who I spend my time with. Like
my
that,
circle has to be very small.
So,
and if it don't, if my circle is not very small, and later on I found out it was a comic. I wish I could remember his name. I'd shout him out, but I can't. But he told me at a show. He gave me this book to read about introverts.
Mm.
And I never bought this specific book, but I did enough digging around like online. And that's when I realized, like, no, I'm an introvert, like, for real. Forget all the stand-up business. Like, I can do that. But when it's done, it's over. Like I have a social wallet that is super tight. I'm serious, but that's how I gotta think. Like I do. Yeah. I have X amount of hours where I can socialize. If I go over that, it's a detriment.
Right.
It's a detriment. Like I need to shut down for a while, but I don't know all that stuff back then. I don't know. Just feel away, yo. Mm-hmm. Just feel away after a certain, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you don't even know how to I don't even know how to manage that at that
There's
point.
No words for it yet.
Nothing. Don't know how to articulate it. I can't articulate it. I don't know how to correct it. I don't know how to budget it. I have no clue.
Which then adds to the thing. Because it makes you extra weird for not being able to speak to what it is that's bothering you in the first place.
You don't even know.
So it's just like, you know what? I'm just not gonna come out the house.
Yeah. Yo, I was over my mom's like a couple of months ago. My brother came back. He lives out in Seattle now with his wife.
Word.
And my mom was getting at me. She was like, so this was about like, I don't know, years. I can't give you years anymore. It's in that it's in our story here, it's linear. Mm-hmm. It's while I'm still doing all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. I moved back, which is what time when I moved back in with her and we started making the videos. Remember all that stuff? Yo, you know what I just saw the other day? I just saw the the basement video. When you moved back home, remember that one?
Yeah.
I don't know how I got there. Somebody asked. Anyway.
Yeah, it's still up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that, so my mom was like, this was during that time frame, and she was like, yo, she was telling my brother, I don't know why she's bringing this shit up then, but you know how moms are. She's like, you got a girl and all this business. I'm like, man, you just got married like 2 years ago. You're 60. Like, I'm good. Why are you rushing me? Nobody was rushing you.
Right.
And she was like, oh, I'm worried about you because when you were here. She was telling my brother. When I was here, I remember specifically, I came down one day and said, Randy, you got to get outside and you got to do things and you got to do things. And she said, I'll never forget. You just looked at me and said, are you happy? But I was dead serious. She's like, you got to make yourself happy. And I was just like, well, are you happy?
Right.
Yeah, you ain't. She was like, you got to go. I'm saying, you ain't married. Well, you happy? You happy? I could be. But,
right.
What I'm saying is that was the space I was in. Like,
yeah, for sure.
That was the space I was in.
For sure.
Just like, but you don't, I don't know why I'm there.
And there's other things there's things that are still fresh. And you know what I mean? That's the thing we take for granted, right? So we're going through this, trauma, right? Don't play on my name as we doing on this podcast, right? So we're going through this trauma and you find activities, things to bring some type of, joy into your world. And so you pursue those as a way of coping, dealing with the thing that's got you from the door. Mm-hmm. But then that thing that is the joy piece gets incorporated into the need to sustain myself and this ambition to take this thing that was the joy to, yo, there's money available for this. And if I can just make enough money, then I don't got to do the other stupid thing that takes my time away from doing the thing that I love to do.
God
right? So it's not greed. It's not greed. So people who are not artists or people listening to this, we're not saying that all of a sudden we get in love with trying to make money from the thing. But what happens is you have to make money.
Have to.
And so it's like, I can't get better because sometimes I get a rhyme at 8:20 in the morning in the shower, and I don't have enough time to get that rhyme completely out because I've got to now focus my mind on getting dressed, getting in the car, getting out the door to get to work. And so I'm trying to remember those 8 bars. Pre-BlackBerry, I couldn't even spit the rhyme into my phone and keep it. I'm trying to hold on to these bars. You know, that's what I guess makes Jay-Z. That's what he did on the block, right? You're trying to just get from one place to another, but it's not sustainable. So you forget, I want to be able to come out the shower and finish this rap. I want to be able to walk back and record a demo of this verse because I am a songwriter.
Yeah. So for me, like in stand-up, for me, it's now, okay, I'm doing a bunch of open mics, but those ain't audiences. And that arena is good for getting, it's level 1. Let me get comfortable on stage. I'm good with that now. I don't care about, let me get over the fear of a joke not working. I don't give 2 shits whether or not this thing's funny. Because that might not even be my goal that night. My goal that night was just let me say these words, and I just need to see how people are responding to just the words, flat out. Is it even an interesting topic? And you can't do that. It's very hard to do that in front of a room full of other comics.
A bunch
of
comedians.
You need to be in front of a live audience.
Facts.
But because you're not making the money, right? You're not in enough
somebody's
arenas.
Friend.
Yeah, you're not in enough arenas to be in front of people consistently to work out that material. So you start to get stuck. So now you got to do the shit that works. I hit this point. I got to do these jokes that I know work because now I'm getting paid. But I got these other bits that I got to work out. But now I'm here and I'm getting paid. I can't slide them in a way that really makes it feasible.
Because God forbid
it don't go well. I'm out.
Fucks my money up. Yeah.
It don't go well. And the person,
you're trying to hold on to all the opportunities that you have because there ain't that many.
Exactly. So that now becomes a grind. And again, this ain't got nothing to do with everything else you got going on in your life.
Right.
So I worked out its whole set of principles and all that business that's going on. Personally, at that time, so me and the chick broke up. So now I'm there, my mom's going, well, she know I just got to a breakup. And now I went from living in my own crib for 7 years to, by choice, I went back to her house. And I'm there with the dog. Remember my big-ass dog, Guinness? It's me and Guinness in the basement. Like, financially, do I need to be there? No. I don't need to be there. I got a job, I can go.
Where the hell am I go though?
Yeah. But where am I go? What am I do? What am I do?
Yeah.
I don't even know which way. At that point, my boy, I don't know which way is up. I really didn't. I don't know which way is up. I don't know, because I started therapy, right? After the traumatic event with the child. I started and I went for a little bit. They had tried medication, all that. It just wasn't working for me.
Right.
Just wasn't working for me. Because I still hadn't learned how to even process that stuff. Like, you know where I was at mentally? I was processing the shit from high school.
Wow.
Because that's what I wrote about in my stand-up. That's what I was working through. I hadn't caught up to nothing recent.
Wow. Right. Wow.
Didn't get there yet. And I'm just saying this out now for the first time. I've never pieced it together that way.
Right.
And so we go 2007, 2008, 2009. I'm talking about the years from 90 to 97, 98. That's what my mind is working through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything I can took almost everything I'm talking about is stand up. I'm running through my set list right now. 90% of it is that. It pertains to that because I always know, like, I know what the experience I'm writing about here.
Right.
And it all pertains to that. So I'm still dealing with that stuff. Now I know, all right, I gotta escape for this through stand up. I can make it work. I can develop it. I can work through it. I can go make it make sense to me and try to make it make sense to somebody else. Right. But that's what I'm dealing with. So whatever was current, I'm just, it's just going in the bucket. It's just going in the bucket. This is a building, this is all right. This is all right. Okay, you were here. All right.
Right.
I lost baby. That's there for now. Maybe 10, 15 years we could deal with that.
Yeah.
All right. Just lost this relationship that I had to chick with. I would
And
deal with that.
but if you look at it from what you're saying, this bucket, and then you look up and the bucket of like, or the well, or whatever metaphor you want to use of like the shit I need to process and deal with and heal from and move on from and move on through becomes overflowing.
Too much.
And the fucks to give and the love to share and their energy to put forth to be positive
Too
is
much.
dry.
Done.
And
Dunsville.
it's like, I got nothing left for
Dunsville.
this.
Yeah. Dunsville. Like I'm going.
I have to start peeling things out of this bucket. I can't do anything more on this side with myself. And so for me, you just find yourself, you're in the crib, you're alone. You know my story. So there's all of that. And you're alone now. And you're still trying, but everyone's gone. Right? And then for me, it was a culmination of like everything that led up to Major Journalism, the album. And I released that album. And it wasn't like, it's not dramatic. It's just like one day, like I'm listening to it or something, or it comes on like, and I'm just like, I didn't want to make that album like that.
No. That's surprising.
I started out with a vision. And that's not quite how I heard it in my head.
No.
And that's another thing. I'll get to that in a second. That's another funny moment I had with that. And then I said, like, well, what happened? And it was like a accumulation of just like trying to figure out how to find myself in all of this, dancing around, like being self-contained, getting help, finding an avenue, like just all of this, like creating the business that is 623 Entertainment and finding some way to release this music on my own. And I was just like upside down in that shit. You know what I mean? Like I just owed a bunch of money to stuff and equipment and just stuff. And it was just like, it almost felt like if you were in a relationship and you realize like she doesn't love you back, like she don't love me.
Yeah.
Like I've poured everything into this and it's like, so we're not fucking with that album.
Yeah.
We like the one you did for free in your crib.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tough. Yeah, man.
We like the one you did in the crib, in the bedroom, sitting down just like this right now, just spitting these verses into the thing. It's like, okay, that's cool, but that costs 5 figures. Like I put everything I had into this thing.
When they don't value, when you get back the reality of it, it's not valued.
They don't have
My
to
input,
value
and they
it.
don't. It's not owed to you. It's not owed to you. They got nothing to do with that. They got nothing to do with that. That's your business. Like, that's our business, right? That's our deal. Whatever we put into it, the audience ain't freaking. They're not beholden to that. They don't care, and they shouldn't. It's not their bag.
But does it matter how long it takes to? And in that same space, you'll remember, because that realization of the day that I kind of heard that album for some reason, and it just was like, I don't like it. And the 5 minutes that we had a handshake deal with Tommy Boy.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. That crushed me, man. That crushed me.
Those two
I forgot how painful that was. Ugh.
I didn't have it to really give anymore. I was just at that point in time, I kind of was just trying to get to the finish line.
Yeah. You mentioned that Tommy Boy situation, and I never, I know what happened. You know what's funny? The turntable covers that we got from that, they're still on my wall here.
I'm looking at it right here.
I still got them up. The album cover from which EP we put out. Remember those two portraits that dude drew
autobiographic.
Yeah, I still got them still on my wall. Yeah. Hanging over a copy of the album with Gas, the
Jazz Hop.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. I got that. That's my music corner.
Yeah,
all that stuff there. It ain't never going anywhere. But I was to say that as soon as you said it hit me, it was like I forgot.
I just forgot about it until this moment. I forgot about it until this moment.
Jeez,
did I ever tell you?
Damn, I forgot all about that.
Did I ever tell you?
It felt like it's like you were there, and then it's like, and then we just went through like shit wasn't normal. Like, I guess it's normal, but it's not. It's not.
Did I ever tell you what happened?
Mm-mm.
As I know it?
No.
So you remember they just like emailed the next 2 days later. They were supposed to email the contract. They emailed instead and was just like, nah.
No, they didn't do that. They said they were still deciding.
Is that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they just sent the email and said, yeah, we go in a different direction.
Yeah, but no, we left the office and we're like, whoa, shit,
We left the office. They were like, yo, we're going. We're going to put up a contract. It's a 50-50. It was a deal.
Yeah, it's good. We're going.
Then they sent an email saying they had a meeting or something and they were still deciding. I think you're right.
Yeah. Then like the president we met,
we were like,
she said the A&R is holding it up.
We were like, how did they get to deciding?
Mm-hmm. So it was decided.
So they used to throw like parties in the city.
Mm.
And I went to one of these parties and with OB3, you remember Otis.
Otis was which Otis
Not
was
Otis. Not is it Otis? I hope I didn't say my man's name
the
wrong.
dude. It was the dude that was the roommate to the engineer, right?
Yeah.
That little collective that was living in the apartment.
Yeah. Right.
That's a show unto itself.
How about that? So we we were in there, and I guess the and I'm not gonna say any names, and it's good that I don't remember names because then I can't say them. But it was the young lady who was like president or something that we met. We met in her office.
Yeah.
And then it was like the A&R dude who actually got us the meeting. And so in the middle of the party, the spirits are flowing. She's like, Traum! She comes up to me and gives me a hug. She's like, yo. And I'm like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? She's like, yo, it was him. Like,
that's what I remember. Yeah, that's what I remember.
So I never had a conversation with him. But that's your Comedy Store moment. Like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude, I distinctively remember saying, this is the best music I've heard all day. Like, we listen to music all day. This is the best shit I've heard.
Yeah.
And so, I chalk that up somehow to my personality. I'm not cool enough.
Yeah, I wouldn't even take that on. I don't even know.
I
and
don't,
you know what's funny too? I thought I thought we had such an angle on this B. Because remember that dude, he used to he did a little stand-up too by himself on his own. So I was just gonna run, you know what I mean? Now this is me extending myself.
Right.
I never got a chance. So I was like, oh, come, let's hit some mics. I'll go up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And try to do that thing, like build up.
Yeah.
So but why it was
that because it felt like a culmination of all of this hard work.
We were like going like it was like and then phew. Yeah.
And it took the wind out of me.
Yeah.
And I never asked you like what that did to you.
I didn't even think about what that did to me, my boy. So now.
Another thing we don't process.
Just don't you might
because I'm only telling you it bothered me now.
Yeah.
I don't know that I knew it bothered me then. I just said, fuck them.
But that's the thought. I'm locked into, okay, because I remember the conversations. All we were looking for at that point, because we were so self-contained, we just need a bigger cosign. Like, we wasn't looking for this ain't gonna be no money, bread here. It's just a cosign. This gonna open up some more doors to us, so then we can get more shows booked, so we can move. Now we can maybe get another feature.
Number 2, as you said, feature. That Rhapsody feature was the second thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so I'm in the marketplace because the technology allows me to be in the marketplace. But I'm not in the community per se. I'm not in the industry. I'm in the marketplace, but I'm not in the industry.
As more of a consumer. You're still on the consumer end almost.
No. Almost.
I'm speaking to like their mentality. If I'm reading what you're saying right.
No. I'm saying like I'm just the mom and pop's hardware store that you can go get your keys cut at. You can go get you a wrench. You can do things. I do all the things that Lowe's does. I don't have the marketing budget. I don't come from money. So I don't have the relationships with the other, you know what I mean? So Lowe's and Walmart and Target and Best Buy, not anymore, but you know what I'm saying? And now fast forward that to what you said, streaming, to Disney and Netflix and Hulu and they, there's these conventions and these parties and then these And then there's just these little guys with, Dame Dash Studios or something, right? It's like you're not at that convention.
Yeah.
You don't get to bid on these licenses. You don't get to do these things. And so, you know what I mean? It was like, I sell music. I actually sell it. I stream it. I'm in the stores that you're in. I produce product just like you do. But I don't have the cachet, the relationships, I got the sweat equity, but no one knows that. And so it's like, I'm outside. I'm knocking on the door. Hey, look, 300,000 views. Look, 50,000. Look, I'm just like you. I don't know you though. Who are you?
Yeah, in the club though.
And that was tough. You know what I'm saying? And then we're not kids. And so there's just that.
Speaking
we're
of that,
not children.
Yeah, speaking of that, I think that was if I look back, I was like, of all the things I could have changed, like, and there's a shitload. Like, it's just so much. But the one major thing that I didn't need to do, and I think you did it too, and it was so I talk to people now, it's just like, I thought there was this big rush to get this thing done now. Like, we were old. We're old and we got to get it. Our window is dwindling. No!
That's so window.
Funny. So you take everything else that's going on, right? I'll give you another thing too, like right around that Tommy Boy era thing, right? Another thing, like a minor thing that really messed with me was I remember I called up this club in New York to try to book a gig, right? So research it. I get the guy on the phone and I'm talking to the guy, and this dude, I had to bark on this cat and hung up on him. I'm just trying to, hey, just shut up. He goes like, no, listen. You listen, I talk. I'm like, who the hell you think?
What is this, a Gilbert Godfrey skit or something? Like, what talks like that?
Son went off. I didn't even get into we ain't talk no money. I'm just saying, hey, what do we do? He said, no. You listen, I talk. And I can't remember the name of the place.
You're right.
And I just scream on this dude. Now, mind you, I'm having this conversation in the parking lot at my day gig. I'm trying to get this done.
Right.
I just bark on this dude, and now I got to go back in and finish out the workday in a work environment where it was so messed up that I ended up having to get a lawyer for these cats.
Right.
And then on top of that, I got it stuck in my mind. The window is shrinking.
Right.
We only got so much. So and I wish, of all things, I would have never thought along those terms.
That's
of
amazing.
Like the window shrinking.
Because if I get caught in that, that's amazing. Because if I get caught, and I have, because I'm human, you get caught in that time game.
Yep.
Right. And so, but even when I get caught in that time game, my thought is always, I wish I had started sooner. I wish I had started later. And so that, you know what I mean? It would have been now, and now is always the time. And so that's the moral to this whole story. So even when we reflect and we get into the space where we're telling this story, and folks are listening to us, complain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is not what we're doing. But if someone felt that way, the bottom line, the wrap up, the ribbon as we get there is, now is the best time.
Yep.
And so, yeah,
and
I wasn't in the clubs, as you're saying. I performed, before we were 30, you perform, you hang out, you know what I mean? Like, you make a night of it. Once I crossed at a certain level, it's like, I don't want to be here.
It's done. It's over.
I came here to rap.
It's a gig now. It's a gig. Exactly. Like
And
yeah. Like I would
so
go to do shows. You're done. I'm out.
yeah, yeah. And so I just lost the thing that I started it for. Like it just, I'm cool.
But it's
It's too.
so gradual. It's so gradual. It's so You don't even realize you're losing it. You don't even realize you're losing it. At least I didn't.
I didn't
I
until I
don't.
just,
So
you
you
wake
know.
up and so what happens is I'm getting beats from Gas Lab for Jazz Hop 2.
Mm.
And this is, I probably started getting a beat from him in like 2016. Major Journalism dropped in 2015. And so around that time, because it's like, fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go back in. I'll just drop another jazz hop. Like, okay, that's the wave. Okay, cool. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go. I got nothing. I got nothing. You know what I mean? Just I got nothing for it. I sit there, listen to the beat. The fuck am I rapping for?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. That was the feeling. It was like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Who cares? It's gonna just recur. It's gonna come with all of this shit that I don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
All of this compromise, all of this, like, yo, this way would be better. More people might like it if you do it. Like all of that. Like,
you know what it is? Like I think it's like I'll speak for myself too. Is that I got outside of the process and started focusing too much on end result.
that's it. That's
You
all it
focus
is.
on end result, and you know what got
That's
you there
all it
was
is.
the process. Focus on the process.
That's
But
all it
the
is.
closer you think you get, you know what it is? You think you're at a tipping point where you're hoping so bad. I'm almost there where I can dedicate my time. I'm almost there. I can dedicate. And then if that got pulled out from under you, it's a mother if you don't know what's coming and you don't know how to rebound. It's a beast.
The other thing is,
it's a beast, man.
The process was, you know what I mean? The process was me, you, June, Sav, Swiss, Chuck in the studio in the Northeast with the crazy dudes who smoke cigarettes back to 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 back. You know what I mean? Making Trauma the Block Pro.
Mm-hmm. Yo,
that was the process. And so when all of that got stripped away, and it was really just like, yeah, I'm in this room by myself with beats, forcing myself to write rhymes.
Yeah, what is
it? That no one's going to hear. Or, you know what I mean? The negative stuff starts to kick in. Like the negative guy starts, the doubt guy.
You talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, the doubt guy starts to kick in. The doubt guy is like, yo, dude, nobody even cares. You just spent all that money on that album. You just dropped that. No one cared. What are you doing? Fell completely out of love with it. Completely out of love with it. I didn't have enough to go on. So I stopped. And I just stopped. And then maybe sometime a year, 6 months, however long it took, one day, I just went back in my email and I just pulled up a Gas Lab beat and I just put it in the Pro Tools and I just recorded a song. And then I did a second one. And then I sent it to Gas Lab. And he was like, okay, I think we're working again. Here's some more beats. And then we put together Jazz Hop 2. Those 2 songs aren't even on Jazz Hop 2. But
it got you
it
going.
Started the process again. And I just started to like doing it. And that's the only reason why that album even got done. I still didn't want any parts of doing it. But I had to regain my love for making art.
Yeah.
Making art. And then, you know, henceforth why we're here now. Because this became the thing post that allows me to be me. And so it's like, I'm going to crack this mic and I'm just going to do what is in me to do that has nothing to do with the stuff. And so we'll get to a point here, and you know, this is fast forwarding to just where you are with the art today. But we'll get to a place. We've already got to a place with me and Anthony and Mickey doing a guest in the house where it's like, okay, so what do we do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need to do social media. We are like, we're doing ads, like we're trying to draw people in to the podcast because it has value. And we want people to be able to experience this value. But that becomes a thing.
Yeah. It becomes like scary, man, because like even though all that stuff we talked about, another thing too that I don't, it's a couple of things. I would never put that time pressure on myself again. And when I feel it coming up now, I disregard. I try my best. I fight the good fight on that before I get to anything else and going, no, today though. Are you doing it today? Stop worrying about that. And then the other thing is, it's like it instilled a fear of trying in me that I don't like. I'll speak for myself. Like a new event, you know?
It's there.
It's there. It's like, man, you want to put yourself through that again? You want to do that? You sure you want, you know? And I don't like that. That's the lasting impact of it that I hate, is that I still have a fear of going back in, because I was at the point. So all that goes through, I stopped. Right? I don't remember what year I stopped, man. I just stopped, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, so you were 2015, 16, you're doing that. 2015, I buy the house. So I'm moving out of my mom's house. I buy a house. And then financially, I get like wiped out. My dog had to have 2 surgeries. It was like 12 grand. I just bought the house, mind you. Just bought a house, bought a new car. Dog got to have 2 surgeries. It was like a 6-month period there where I got hit with like a $3,000 bill every 2 months. And on top of that, I just left that job because, like I said, long story short, they hired a dude who was a cop who got fired from being a cop because he showed up at the cop station drunk and pointed guns at people. And the company hired this guy. This guy gets here and he's a maniac. And, you know, saying all types of racist business and all kinds of stuff. And we get into it and I got to bounce. So I didn't leave. Like, I got into it with my boss and I'm like, I'm out. I walk out the door. And now I got to facilitate finding another job, not losing my home, trying to do all that.
Right.
Transition to a new job, get all, you know what I mean? Trying to figure all that out. So I get there and I put everything on, like, I'm not even thinking about performing no more. And then I kind of, as things got settled in, like that got resolved. I'm at the new job. I'm dealing with the stuff there, but whatever. You know, I can compartmentalize a little bit. And so then I started, like, all right. One day I went back out to an open mic. I was like, okay, I can do this. I allowed myself to do. I was like, I can do this every once in a while without no pressure of nothing, and just write some stuff, come up, and and just work the process.
Right.
Just work the process. and my schedule had changed where I couldn't do it. I was working second shift, so like there was no going nowhere at night to go do any of this. Like I physically couldn't be anywhere anymore. Like, and I had people that I knew who were in long enough. They'd be like, "Yo, you can come do a set, come do a set." But I'm like, no, I'm not showing up and doing no sloppy set without feeling like
right,
I can, you know?
right.
And so I was just about to start doing that, and like I did that a couple times, and then things just kind of flipped upside down again. Like I got a job where I traveled, and then the pandemic hit. So I never, at the point where like I thought I could step back in a little bit on my own terms, it didn't become feasible.
So go
ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say, like, does it feel like you'll get on stage again?
Yeah, I know I will.
Okay.
No, I just wrote a bit the other day.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, though. So you got all that. Here's the caveat, my boy. You don't turn none of that off.
Yeah.
You don't get to turn off like formulating bits.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. I have to actively go, no, I'm not gonna sit down and write this. I still remember it though, because
that's beautiful. You see,
if it's a good one, I keep it because that's how that was my process towards the end.
Yeah.
It was a good one. I just kept it and built it.
That's good. I'm starting not to think in raps anymore. That's going to make sense to you, maybe not to a lot of people. I feel the sun setting on that part of like, and that's scary to me. And it does fuck with me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't hear the raps anymore. You know what I mean? I can produce a verse.
But you don't. I know what you're saying.
It requires me to step into a space, and it just takes.
You know, when you're in it, it just comes to you. It's
laborious. It's a laborious.
You get like 2-3 lines, and then you're
gone. Exactly. For me, it used to be the first line.
Yeah, that's it. You get one.
If I get a dope opening, I'm gone.
It's over.
You know what I mean? And
Botswana.
Yeah.
I just Strong Price, but that always I think like opening line, that's all Botswana. You small time little league niggas. Botswana. It's so good. So good. My bad. But that's it. You need one
perfect.
of them.
That's perfect.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Like who starts around with Botswana? But that's the shit that excites you.
Exactly. That's the shit that excites you. And so and I think that the difference between me and say even, some of my contemporaries, some of my brothers who still at it, and I love it, and I cheer all of them on, you know what I mean? But that heartbreak, that like toe in the door, shut in your face, I've seen what it takes, I've got there, and you know what I mean? Like you're dealing with that. And also, like I said, like I don't want to make music by myself.
Yeah.
I didn't get into this to really it was always a community thing for me.
Yeah. I dig that.
So it's like solo. I was forced solo. You know what I mean? And
that ain't your bag. I got it.
I did the best I could. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you go to therapy, or you and then me. Like, so I'm in therapy, 10 years later. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm doing the spiritual stuff. I'm learning who I am. And then I see, you know what I mean? Like I see it in my life story. So then it becomes like, damn, I talk to you. I talk to Sav, you know what I mean? And, Sav like, yo, you taught me how to rap. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what it was always about. You know what I mean? Like I'm mentoring. It's that space. It's the teaching. It's the community. I don't care about being no rap star.
Mm-mm.
I never cared. I
Yeah.
just wanted to do something with y'all. And you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
hip hop. And it's like, I just wanted to. So it was like when you sit around and you sitting in this room by yourself, and it's like, what am I rapping for?
Mm-hmm. And what helped me transition too, like out of it, is that like I started focusing on the elements of stand up that I could implement at work. So when I was going through that super rough patch after I left my job, I got to a new job. I get there, they're like, "Fuck you, we don't want you here. You an outsider." I had a pre-shift meeting. To me, that was just an open mic every day. And I didn't go in telling jokes.
Right.
I used my command of, I know, like, oh, there's 45 of you in here and I'm in the front talking.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Right.
I know how to command a room.
Right.
Watch me
Right.
command this room.
Right.
Watch me command. So I had, you know what I mean? So I couldn't do stuff, but I had like a space. That helped a lot. Now I'm thinking of it. And I found other instances at work where like I would use what I'd learned from stand up, and I still do in my job. Like I know how to read a room. So I actively in my mind make the connection that this thing that I'm doing right now, I learned in stand up. I actively do that. So
dope.
that I always, you know what I mean? I don't ever look at it like, I don't look at it as a waste or it went wrong or, you know what I mean? I pull the value of it into what I'm doing constantly.
It becomes, yeah.
I work too hard. I work too hard to get those skills to just go be like, oh, well, you didn't become a professional comic, blah.
You integrate those skills into your identity, because and it becomes part of your repertoire, so to speak, because it's not, and that's where the detachment comes from, right? So it's not about like, I'm this rapper and I never got big, and you're this comedian who never got big. It's like, nah, I'm an orator.
Yeah.
I can articulate a point very well.
Yeah. You
written
ain't gonna take
or
that
spoken.
So that
I can be personable when called upon.
Yeah. So that's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are all aspects that made me a decent MC. Not that I was just MC and like these attributes are mine.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? And so we take that wherever we go now.
Yeah.
We take that wherever we go now, and we still use that. And from my work now is to still use that to build something of my own. Because at the end of the day, that's really my mission.
Yeah.
To give of myself in the building of something that we own.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for like, if you're thinking like, you know, and I'll bring it back to you here, because this is what helps me so much, is that I actively say to my mind, I learned this because I did these things. And then I'm good with it because it is just a continuation of what I was doing. Because if you go back to because you know what it does? It keeps you in the process, which is what we loved anyway.
Right. Right.
Just stay in the process. Okay, the process is the process. Like
the process is the process. The process is not
rap.
Here. It's not rap music.
Yeah.
And
no.
It's not.
Process is looking and understand the rap music, right? For us, especially the way we came about doing it and who we loved, it was about making sense with the world around you.
Right.
So when did you not need to do that? You're always going to need to do that. Luckily, you have a framework for doing that.
Right.
Apply it.
Right.
Apply it.
Right. Right.
Apply it.
That's it. And we can stop right there. Because yeah, man, this was amazing.
Yeah, no, thank you.
This was amazing, bro. And
some things I didn't think I haven't thought of in years, my boy.
And that's, you know, and we could keep going. We gotta, because this could go. And so, man, bro, like I just to know that you're still writing is important. You know what I mean? That gives me joy.
Yeah, no. I got the bit. I keep tumbling it over.
Yeah. And you know, to know that this through it all, there's no bitterness towards it on my end either.
No, that's good to know, man. That's good to know.
And yeah, you know, we just I like that. I never put that framework together, that, you know, just the integration of what it really is that makes that so. Like, what makes me Traum Diggs, right? And that's the work that I'm doing, you know what I mean, on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
But my natural inclination is to use my gifts to express what I'm going through, so that those who are within an earshot can know someone's going through it as well, maybe get some tools to deal with it, you know what I mean? Or just be able to be in community with
the
people.
ultimate thing is that you don't feel alone in it.
Correct.
And when you get that recognition back from that person, that's what I get out of. That was the ultimate thing I got out of stand-up, is when I say this thought of how I felt, and I wrote in that perspective. This is the last thing I'll say. I wrote jokes, and I still do from that perspective. And then I wrote from an emotional perspective. I go, our emotions are finite. We only have so many. I don't care where you are, what culture you come from. Our emotions are emotions. What changes are situations. I got infinite situations. So whatever situation I'd like write about, I would, after I've gotten like a line or two that got me into it, I'll actively sit back and go, okay, what's the emotion here? And develop along those lines. Am I afraid? Right. Am I sad? Am I whatever? Am I happy? Is this joyous? Is whatever it is.
That's a joke.
When you get that connection, like when I would get that connection on stage, that's what the laugh was. The laugh wasn't to feel like I'm the funniest dude in the world. Who cares? Quite honestly, I don't business. Like, I care if I make my boys laugh, but you know, that's jokes, right? But like the affirmation wasn't that I'm so. The affirmation wasn't that I was talented. The affirmation is that you experience the same things I have.
Yeah, 100%. I feel you. That's the exchange. Yo, I feel you. I know, that's all I wanted. I just want you to feel me.
Yep.
Yeah. So, my brother, we already know there's we don't want to follow him anywhere. We're not emailing him.
No, okay.
Leave this man alone. Let him do what he does.
We'll be back, you know?
Yeah. I'm going to get him back.
Yeah, we got something.
I'm going to get him back. I always, listen.
Just put me on the path to getting, I got to get past some things.
Even when I don't know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. And so that's my job. And so we'll see him again, but we don't need to follow him anywhere.
No.
This is David Traum Diggs Shanks, your host. This is Major Journalism. My brother Diff, I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Peace and love. Salute.